JGTC. If you're born in the late 90s or the early 90s, you might know this Japanese racing series from 1993 to 2004. Did you know that this national racing series was made because of an economic crisis that happens in Japan? To know what happened before that, let's go back to 1983. All Japan Sport Prototype Championship was a domestic championship which took place in Japan for Group C and IMSA GT prototype cars, formed by the Japan Automobile Federation. For 10 seasons of the championship, Porsche won 6 of them, BMW only won 1 championship, and the rest of the season won by Nissan. But in 1992, there are 2 classes that won the championship. The C class won by Toyota and the C1 class won by Nissan. Later, the championship died because of the economic crisis that Japan had. Now we're going to move on to 1985. This new racing series will be the base for the JGTC. And welcome to JTC. The JTC or JTCC or Japanese Touring Car Championship was a former touring car racing series held in Japan. The series was held under various regulations during its existence, including international categories such as the Group A and Super Touring, which allowed both Japanese and foreign-built cars to compete. The final edition of the championship was held in 1998, although a failed attempt at the relaunch was planned for 2012. What makes the JTC unique is that they have their own category, such as the JTC1, JTC2 and JTC3. In JTC1, Nissan dominated the whole series, the same as JTC2, but this time it's not Nissan, it's BMW who dominated the series, obviously with the BMW M3 E30. What about JTC3? Are they the same as JTC1 and 2? Is that one manufacturer dominating the whole series again like in JTC1 and JTC2? Well, you're wrong. The JTC3 had a title fight between the strongest manufacturer at the time, Toyota and Honda. Eventually, Toyota takes the championship away from Honda. Later in 1993, GT Association decided to call Japan Automobile Federation and says, "Hey, you wanna make a race again?" And Japanese Automobile Federation says, "Yeah, why not? Let's see what happens." And welcome to JGTC. The JGTC was very simple back then and not as complicated as today. The main interest of JGTC is to race a car that cannot compete in the JTC. The stages of JGTC back then is not an official season. On the first season of JGTC, there's only 4 races that happens in that season, and 3 of them was held in Fuji Speedway. There are some classes that I'm going to talk about in this season, and one of them is the GT1 classes. The GT1 is filled with 1 JGTC prototype cars and 3 IMSA GTO cars, such as the Nissan Skyline R32, the Oldsmobile Cutlass IMSA GTO, and the Ford Mustang IMSA GTO. In 1994, the JGTC status is finally an official event, but only leaving the GT1 and the GT2 classes. In 1994, some of the teams find a loophole on the regulations, especially for the GT1 class, so that a team can quote-unquote outsmart the regulations. For example, the Ross competition team used the Lancia 037 WRC spec on the round 3 in Fuji Speedway. Then there's the Team Taisan that used the Ferrari F40 LM, and they had time to add one more car, and that's the Porsche 962C. Last but not least, there's Terra Engineering that used the 25th anniversary edition of the Lamborghini Countach. Later they changed the regulation for the JGTC 1995 season, and the JGTC that we know today was born. What are you waiting for? It's over. The story of JGTC is over, mate. You can leave. You can take a big shit. Later, in 2005, the JIF decided to change the name into Super GT World Challenge. And they're going to race in China and Malaysia. But the FIA said, no, you can't do that. Obviously you can do that, but you're going to have only one race that is outside of Japan. So later, the JIF lands on Malaysia. And ladies and gentlemen, we're finally in Super GT.